Good evening, race fans. It's Friday. Yeah, and tomorrow's Saturday. Boom Shankar. Right, it's the Community Team Cup, race day 2. Qualifying is already underway, which means you don't have to listen to me talk a lot. Fun Police, GD Sliders, Ray, Nick, Simon, Viking, who else have I missed? Everybody, hey, how are you? Thank you for joining me. Shall we go straight across? Let's go straight across, shall we? Let's give it a that. Let's go like that. Boom Shankar. AHR first up with the qualifying. It is AHR versus Race Asylum. 2 behemoths. Hang on, let me turn the racing down in the ear. I have to shout over myself. 2 behemoths of GT7 racing. We are at Suzuka. 3.6 miles, I think it is, still about just over 5 kilometres of iconic racetrack in the equally iconic 911 RSR. Absolutely love this motor car. It is a Gran Turismo staple, and I defy you for anyone that doesn't like this car. If you're new to the CTC, it's the Community Team Cup. There are 10 teams going head to head once a month there or thereabouts, and everyone will play everyone, and then at the end of it all, and they do 2 races each, so one team picks one car on track, another picks another car on track, doobie, get gone with the racing, and then at the end of it, the top 4 go into a playoffs, like an American style kind of playoff scenario kind of finale, until we find the overall winner at the end, and that'll be sometime in November-ish. We will find that. King Ears, hello Gov, good to see you. Oi, you slag yourself, my friend. Good to see you all joining us. So, what do we know about these 2 teams? Well, we know that they're pretty darn racy, the pair of them. Both of them are very capable drivers, and I can tell you there's 1 or 2 drivers among these teams that are like shit off a very, very well-oiled shovel. Very, very quick. Looking forward to this. I am going to try and practice today, not swearing as much as I normally do during a broadcast. There's a very good reason for that, is that on Wednesday I make my debut as a hospital radio DJ, and I know it's cheesy and it's a little bit rubbish, and no, I'm not going to go on to touch children, but it's my way of, I like doing charitable stuff, and it's cheaper for me to give my time than it is to give my money. Anyway, moving swiftly on, so I've got to practice talking for a couple of hours and not swearing, but I'll probably swear anyway because that's what I do. Right, let's have a quick look at where is it? That's the wrong one. That's what we want to look at. This is how the CTC leaderboard look at the moment. Ready to race, Royal Talent Racing. They are currently top, although it is joint with AHR, ART, ERA and ORT, Overbush Racing Team. All on 3 points, all played 1, all won 1. And the plus or minus is the kind of individual points thingy, which will make the difference later on. It's going to be a massive. No, to be fair, I am kind of context based, so I know that if I'm here and I swear, it doesn't matter. If I'm sitting in a hospital radio setting, I'm pretty much going to remember that it's basically old people and children listening, and we'll see. I mean, some of the old people have got Alzheimer's, so they might just forget. So that's how we're looking anyway for the current season. We'll get rid of that. Not much to qualifying. Each team goes out individually and qualifies on their lonesome. I quite like it when both teams are out qualifying together. But a couple of laps each for AHR, and now you can see the RA guys coming out to do their little bitty. Jakey, how you doing? Hodgson, hello. Sonic, hello. Echo, good evening. Loving the people in the chat already. It makes me feel wanted. I know you're not here for me, you're here for this. But anyway. Right, so Tank Bro, currently on pole, that's a 57.8. Is he able to improve? He's not. But currently on the front row, very briefly, it's Dan FN, or just Dan, who takes that pole position. Then it's James Belfast, Uncle Bob, and Car Hall. It's the RA guys now. They're going to put in their qualifying times, and we'll see where they slot in. So essentially, we're going to have 30 minutes of racing here in this beautiful Porsche 911 here around Suzuka. Then we'll do the old switcheroo on to Watkins Glen and we are in the, I've forgotten the car already. No, I haven't. It's the Mustang GR3. See, like, I remember things. I do remember things. Yeah, it's the Mustang GR3 at Watkins Glen Short. Can't imagine there's going to be a lot of overtaking on that circuit. I think qualifying is going to be absolute paramount there. So you see AHR all into the pits. Tyre-wise, I think everyone's on racing softs on there, of course they are. Why would you qualify on anything else unless you had to? So, who's looking racy? Should we do an onboard? Let's do an onboard with Dens, shall we? As he is the lead car. Here we go, up to the aptly named Turn 1. Japanese very good at naming corners, of course. Turn 1, and it's round into this really tricky S section. And I think this is a really tricky sequence of corners. Probably one of the trickiest in world motorsport. And it was all about feathering throttle, on and off, on and off. Maybe a little touch of brake here and there for rotation purposes only. But it is feather throttling action here. If we get to this turn here, you have to be patient before you get on the power and flick round this left-hand turn till you get into the dangers. A good little drop of the brakes again, drop the brake down, drop the gear down to second gear, then start heading up the hill, climbing up towards the very, very tight hairpin. On the brakes you go, nice and tight is the hairpin, and then you continue climbing up the hill, round this long, sweeping right-hander. This takes you to the crest of the hill and into Spoon Corner, and it's a double apex left-hander here, and you have to be so careful on the way out not to overcook it and drift off onto the gravel. But then it is flat through the gears, heading across the bridge under the Panasonic sign, under the Dunlop sign. Then you hit the sector reveal and the bridge. Across the bridge you go into 130R, little lift unless you're crazy, then down to Casio Triangle, bang, 100-meter board on those brakes, down to first gear, get that rotation in that Porsche. Then as soon as you can get back straight again on the power and to the line. And this is it quick enough? No. What happened there? There we go. Yes, it is. Ish. It's a 59.0. Not good enough to usurp anyone in that top 7 yet. So no one yet from... oh, there we go. We've got one Race Asylum breaking the deadlock there, the 158.9. Who are we looking at? We're looking at Little Nicky to give us time. Larry Birch, maybe Ost as well, the German driver. 59.6 for him. Larry Birch with a 2-minute .4. Little Nicky with a 2:01.6. I know he's got better than that in the tank. How you doing, Clarky? Hello, hello, hello. Toby as well, 2:07.7. That wasn't a great lap for him. We'll try and improve on that. He is, you see there by the, he's one of the academy drivers, so working on his pace. Right. As you can see, I mean, it's two very different races. They both get to pick their. So you would expect the home team, and the home team here will be AHR, Apex Hunters, to have the upper hand on their car and track pick. After all, they picked it. You don't often see the turnaround on that kind of thing. I think I'm supposed to stay impartial, Hodgson, and bearing in mind the movement of Black Flag this week into RA. I should move RA, but I've got a feeling this race, I think Apex Hunters are going to edge it in this race. I don't know about Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen is a very different kettle of fish. Yeah, I'm going to say AHR will edge it, but listen, anything can happen. That we know, and we'll see. We will see. Right, I was going to say, why is he not out on track? Because he's an Apex Hunter. How you doing, Blue Racer? Thank you for joining us. Right, so Toby there, still got time to set. Just comes round 130R into that Casio Triangle. Hard on those brakes he goes. Anyone breaking into that top 5 yet from Race Asylum? Doesn't look like it at the moment. And of course, Race Asylum do have the 2 teams in the Community Team Cup. They've got the Race Asylum Standard Team, I say Standard Team, and the Race Asylum Esports Team as well. who are up in action, I think, tomorrow, if I am not mistaken. I am not mistaken, they're up tomorrow against the Overboost Racing team. What else have we got this weekend? We've got later on today with my brother from another mother's Jaeger, ART versus Raw Talent Racing, and tomorrow we've got ERA versus ORT. We've got the Midway Racing League versus Community League Racing, CLR, and TCR take on ZFS, who've just finished their World Series, which you can. I tell you what, if you want to catch some absolutely awesome racing, ZFS finished their World Series on Wednesday, and I was doing their Division 1 stuff, and I'll tell you what, just bloody wow. The last 5 laps, if you don't want to watch the whole race, catch the last 5 laps. It was absolutely phenomenal racing. So there you go, there is a confirmation. Apex Hunters lock out the front 5 positions. Row 1 and 2, all Apex Hunters. Row 3, Uncle Bob with Brian Adams. Everything he does for me. Ost and Lil Nicky, 7th and 8th. In 9th and 10th is Carhal and Dens. Larry Birch and Toby. Round out 11th and 12th. So a great qualifying start from the Apex Hunter boys and girls. I'm saying boys. There's obviously girls as well. I'm not being exclusive. I'm using it as an affectionate term. People. Let's say that. So race 1 settings are as follows. It is brake balance on, but BOP all the way, everything else. Real slipstream, light mechanical damage. High tyre wear times 6, times 4 on the fuel, 8 litres per second refill, so you're not there forever getting refilled up. What do we got? And then standard stuff. Shortcut penalty week. All other penalties off other than the pit lane cutting penalty. Flag rules on, of course, and no limit on any of the driving option limitation thingy bobbity bobbies. Weather is preset at CO3, so it will not rain, which is a shame. I love it when it rains at Suzuka because people crash and it's good fun. Grid is going to get set by host, which I suppose you have to do. The qualifying settings are different, which indeed they are. What time of day are we going at? We're going at late morning, times 1 variable speed rate. Why do we have to reset for the thing? Aren't they? It looks like the quality settings are pretty similar to the race, but there we go. Is what it is what it is. Ray, of course, stepping in as race director. That's what Ray's short for. Ray is short for race director. That's an actual fact, as you know. Need to show tyre wear indicator on screen. That'll be the fastest thing on track. I do have one. I will bring it up when it is time to do so. Meanwhile, let's have a look at this. This is the lineup, and we've got these little card thingies. I say we. Jaeger has done these little card thingies. It's like your kind of FIFA match cards, but for your teams. And of course, AHR ranked at 91. That's quite high ranking for CTC, with the R18 ranked at 82 overall. It's a win for AHR so far. It's no wins yet for Race Asylum, but there's plenty of racing to be done. Are you talking to me, PT? If you are, it is good to have you listening, my friend. Good to have you listening. I do love my crowd. Not that you belong to me, but you know what I mean. My mic is playing up again, isn't it? No, that's all right. Right, so race will begin shortly. There we go. Right, let's get cracking with it, shall we? I'm looking forward to this one. A little bit more than Watkins Glen, but I'm sure that'll be just as good a race. Righty ho, let's do all the do's, because PD are incapable of setting it, so I can just have it like that all the time. Right, let's do what we usually do. We usually sit around here in the midfield. Into chase cam we go. It will be 5 lights. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. What do we want? Race car noises. When do we want them? Meow. Yeah, boy. We're done. Russell Pottinger, how you doing? We are away. Up to turn 1 we go. Always a worry into turn 1 at Suzuka. The top 7 all through cleanly. Everyone behind through cleanly. A little bit of rub in his racing, but we're all good. Tank Pro in the lead at the moment. Got not anymore. I'll tell you in the lead. As soon as I got up there, he was gone into second. Dan is up ahead of him. It is a bit of an AHR lockout trade. You can see that Brian Adams, everything he does quickly, and he's already up to 5th. So broken that top 5 superiority that AHR had. Very, very quick into Degger. He's already putting significant pressure on the back of Belfast BAP. Is there going to be room for him to get through? How much team play are we going to see here? Are we going to see a bit of team blocking to try and prevent these guys coming down? It all gets a little bit locked up there. You can see that there's nearly coming together between James and Belfast BAP, and that kind of slowed everybody up. But it's all worked out well in the end. No one has died. That's Uncle Bob going at it with Little Nicky. Little Nicky round the outside. Has to just check his windows a little bit wide. Far too wide. That lets Little Nicky through. That lets Carhowl through. Uncle Bob dropping down to 9th position already. That's Larry Birch. He's tucked in behind him there. Already 5 seconds off the lead. This is where you're going to see a lot of overtakes though. Great slipstream here down to 130R. You've got to get the move done before you get there. There is no side-by-side through there unless you have got the world's grippiest tyres and the world's largest testicles. Otherwise, you have to slot in. Excuse me. Den's there in 11th, and it's Toby bringing up the rear. So out in the lead, that is Dan. He got ahead of Tank Bro from the off. They are already 1.2 seconds clear of their teammates Belfast BAP and James. And they're just, it's almost like they're playing a kind of blocking tactic. You've got Belfast BAP and James there holding B. Adams up, and well, he's not really being held up at all at the moment. He's dropping back a little bit. He's got Little Nicky for company and Ost there as well. It's a 3-way battle, but this is where it's all at the moment. Everyone is on. Let's do that, shall we? Right. So out in front, we've got Dan and Tank Pro, Belfast BAP and James all running on those racing medium tyres. Adams on those soft, need to make them count. Little Nicky as well, and Ost, and they're all on the racing softs. There we go, tyre monitor is on. Carhowl is on the medium compound tyres, as is Uncle Bob. So AHR all going with the medium tyres to start. It looks like it's soft all the way for Race Asylum, other than Larry Birch, who's gone for the medium compound tyre. The only American in the lobby, and he's decided to go different. He is following the same tactic as AHR. Yeah, do you see it, Echo? I'll move it separately. I've actually got to move it now because the new Community Team Cup banner is a little bit bigger than my previous one, so I do need to shivvy a little bit. Which I forgot to do because I forgot the banner was. Well, I didn't forget the banner was bigger. I knew it was bigger. I actually wrote myself a post-it note to move tyre and fuel gauge, and I didn't. Mainly because I say I don't follow my to-do list. On my to-do list today was to do my end-of-year accounts, and instead I made a video. Excuse me. See, you should have messages on your telly, man. Right, so Tank Bro still leading the way. Let's have a look at tyre wear, how quickly the softs are going. Not too bad at the moment, actually. I mean, you'll start to see them drop off quite significantly as we get on to sort of like 4 or 5. That's when we'll start to see the drop off, particularly with such a high tyre wear. And it's very, very tyre intensive, Suzuka. It's quite an abrasive circuit in the scheme of things. You can see there Belfast BAP's just closed up the gap a little bit. James dropping behind his teammate, but they are starting to create a sort of, there's almost like a half-second gap between everybody. 7 tenths, half a second. A second back to Lil Nicky, who's now the lead Race Asylum car. Can he close down on the back of James and give him something to think about? We know James is pretty quick off the mark, is James. In fact, he's got 3 teammates ahead of him would suggest it's not going to be an easy ride for these guys today. I think Race Asylum are going to be up against it a little bit here. How are you doing, Jazz? You're feeding the small people. Yeah, we have to do that. Apparently, if you don't do it, they die, and then you can go to prison. I fed mine early. I fed mine at half. I've just bought McDonald's. It's Friday. It's Good Friday, isn't it? And yeah, right. So Larry Birch was 7 seconds back behind time. He's closed it down to 5. He's the only one running those medium compound tyres at the moment. Now the thing is, we're not going to see much battling between teammates. It would be much nicer if they're all mixed up a little bit, because at the moment we've got Dens there. Now Dens is along with, who's that in 7th? That's Adams. Brian, I don't even know if his name's Brian, but that's what I'm going to call him. Brian in 7th, and Dens sandwiching Uncle Bob and Carl, not in like a happy fun time way, but in a let's crush them kind of way. You can imagine Ost pulling off the undercut to jump 4 AHR cars. Listen, it's been done before. Who's to say it won't happen again? You never know. But Den's trying to find a way through. Now, it's always so difficult when you've got your teammate there to help you. It's difficult for you to get past one when there's another one there. Now, what we could see here, we could potentially see Brian there, maybe forcing Uncle Bob back to slow down Carhole and allow Dens to catch him. And then, of course, try and get past Uncle Bob. If he does that, they can work together. But equally, Uncle Bob and Carhole can work together, making sure that Carhole stays in Uncle Bob's slipstream, and they can pull each other along and help keep him away from the outstretched hands of Dens, which is short for Denzel Washington, who I did bet you didn't know was in Race Asylum. That may or may not be true, of course. Right, so 1.3 up is Ost. He is 2.7 behind Little Nicky, who is still, yeah, absolutely. Jazz, you know what? That's absolutely right. I'm going to stop talking. So actually, to be fair, probably people start fucking liking it then. No, you're right. There's 28 people watching and only 9 people liking it. If you look, if you don't like it, then why are you watching? There we go. Yeah, please like it and share as well. We want everyone in YouTube land needs to know you like it, so they show other people. And if they show other people, then more people come and more people watch it, and it all gets big, and then we're all very happy, and people start throwing money at us. If we're lucky. Right, so Nicky is trying and not failing, to be fair. He's sticking with those front 4. They're on different tyre strategies, of course. So it is going to be a bit of work, because the soft compound tyres will go off before those mediums, and they will have to get rid of them. But they only have a limited tyre allocation for the entire race meeting, and that is across both races, both this and the next one. So how you use those tyres is very, very important, and it looks like that the AHR have decided to keep soft tyres back. They're going to want them later on, potentially for Watkins Glen. But this could be a tactical decision by Race Asylum on their own track, their own home pick of the Watkins Glen circuit in the Mustang, that they find that those medium tyres are the perfect solution there. So this could be an absolute tactical play, being on the softs at this stage. But turns of pace at the moment, fastest man on the track is your leader there, that's Tank Bro. He's now got, again, passed down. He's 1.6 seconds clear now, 1.7 seconds clear, and just starting to edge away from his teammates. Dan running there in second. I don't know, was that someone just came in the lobby and spoke to somebody? Who knows? Right, Dan there in second. He's still got Belfast back with him for company. Little Nicky now ahead of James. Can we see what happened to James? I suppose we can. I had a penalty, so that just allowed Little Nicky to breeze past quite easily. That's the first real overtake with malice that we've seen so far. So Little Nicky up into that top 4. eyeing up a place in the top 3 now as he tries to hone in on the back of Belfast Bat, but he doesn't. It's not going to be easy to keep James at bay, and no Jaeger sponsored competition would be perfect without the Jaeger special. Is it that one or is it that one? It's that one, isn't it? The Jaeger special. Love this. It is a great view, to be fair. That's James trying to chase down Little Nicky, while up ahead there's Little Nicky trying to chase down a place in that top 3. Tankbo really starting to turn the screws. 2:01 on those medium tyres. Now, pit windows, what we need to look at. If we look at Little Nicky's tyres, realistically, we're probably looking lap 7, lap 8 at a push. And this race is a 30-minute race, so it's going to need to make them last after this pit stop. Now, the question is going to be, does he go on to the medium tyres, or does he run another stint on the softs? For me, I think you are better off because of the length of the pit stop. I think that's the big issue, is the length of the pit stop. You are probably better off running a longer second stint and trying to one-stop this, because once you've found, if you can get those tyres to last, particularly those medium tyres, which it looks like they do, then you put yourself in a really good position to kind of just get your rhythm and get out there and nick a few places with the kind of changing in the pit stops. Obviously, what we're going to see initially is AHR will pull away, really pull away from the pack once Little Nicky goes in. Ost will be in relatively soon. Brian will be in soon. Uncle Bob, he's on the mediums, he'll stay out. Carhal, he's also on those mediums, he'll stay out. Denz will come in. Larry Birch will stay out. Toby, now 9 seconds back. He looks like he had, he did have a bad lap. Lap 5, 2:13. So clearly a little crashy crash somewhere. So Larry Birch will be out for a while, based on the fact that he's on those medium compound tyres. So he'll be moving up the order a little bit and sort of flying the RA flag in the early stint. Good evening, Kings. How the bloody hell are you, my friend? Good to see you. Tankbo just opening up this gap now. It's 2 seconds clear of Dan. Dan FN 22016. The other 22,015 Dans didn't work out, but this one, it seems to be all right. Belfast Bap. Well, he's just a second behind. A second behind Dan at the moment, and 1.5 ahead of Little Nicky, who's in some trouble. James comes through and makes the move. So James did lose that position because of a penalty, and that would have been a shortcut somewhere. But you can see here he just chases him down, gets around the outside, heading up towards the hairpin, and on those brakes on that inside line, and it does go a bit wide, but does manage to keep that position. Or does he? Yes, he does. So he is now ahead of Little Nicky, who's trying to get back and chase him down, but his tyres are gone. There's not a lot of rubber left there, and that would be a very dangerous time to be using it if you weren't planning on having children. I don't know how to make that connection. Right, so Little Nicky's going to come in the pits. I would have thought at the end of this lap. It is the halfway point, so possibly get the softs to last a little bit, well, for the second half. You think by the time you've done your pit stop, you probably could actually. So he is in. Brian's in. Denz is in. Larry Birch won't be. Ost. It looks like Ost got lost because he is way behind Larry Birch now, 1.3 behind Larry Birch. So those tyres have given up for him. He's going to pull into the pits on this right-hand side. In he goes there. So Larry Birch up to 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th place for Larry Birch, lead RA driver at the moment, but some 17 seconds back behind Carhal. So there we go. It is a double soft one-stop strategy for Race Asylum. Now, here's the thing. Good evening, Jay. How are you? So as it stands, AHR clearly dominating. They dominated the front 5 positions after qualifying. Currently in the in the first 6 positions on the racetrack. However, you do have to consider that they haven't pitted. Everybody else other than Larry Birch has been in for a pit stop. They're all on the medium compound tyres, which are going to last them a good few more laps. In fact, it's going to be the fuel that makes a difference. I'm still quietly confident, Blue Racer. I think you're there or thereabouts right. I think drivers like Little Nicky, Brian Adams. I don't even know if his name is Brian, but that's what I'm going to call him. I think they're in a good position. He's only 32 seconds behind Tank Bro, and if you consider that Tank Bro is going to have to come in at some stage, I'm quietly confident that a few of these RA boys are going to slot themselves into that top 5. It's not all going to be sweetness and light. So in goes Tank Bro, in goes Dan, but Belfast Baps staying out. Now here's the thing, they've chosen the medium tyres here, which will mean they'll be using softs. If they go medium, because they'll be using softs at Watkins Glen. And then, similarly the other way around, Race Asylum will be using mediums at Watkins Glen. It's a difficult racetrack to overtake Watkins Glen, particularly the short version. So I actually think it's going to be it's going to be a very difficult job for they are pitting, they are slowly coming in. So Belfast Bap stayed out, James has stayed out, Tank Bro comes back out, he is in 3rd. Little Nicky is only still 5 seconds behind him. So I'm not sure how well that's worked out for RA. Larry Birch still out there. He's not gone in the pits yet. He is all over the back of Tank Bro like a very unwelcome rash. And HR coming out on the soft tyres now. So we should see a little boost in lap times. No one yet sub 2 minutes. So Larry Birch trying to get the move done, but it wasn't Tank Bro he was battling with. It was Dan FN. Larry Birch is battling with there. Can he get a move done on him? It didn't look like he can because Dan's squeezed past him and going to move on up the road. So Little Nicky is just behind his teammate. It is very few seconds, and he will move over and let his teammate through. Little Nicky on those faster, softer, squeegier tyres, and they're brand new, of course. Now, Belfast Bap still needs to pit. James still needs to pit. Dan and Tank Bro both have already been in. This is really where Nicky needs to get those tyres working for him and try and make the move. Belfast Bap is into the pits, as is James. Now, is he a little bit too far back, Little Nicky, to get a jump on those two? Just looking now at where he is. So he is coming into Casio. They are in the pit box now. So tyres going on for Belfast Bap and for James. They're going to fill up. Where is Little Nicky? Where is Dan? So there's Little Nicky now. He comes through. He does move up into that top 3. Or does he? Yes, he does. But Belfast Bap just coming out. He's going to be about 1.7, 1.8 seconds back by the time he gets up to speed. 1.7. So not bad. It's almost like I'm a professional. James losing out to Brian Adams. Everything he does better than James right now. So there was a little bit of a leap through the pit stop strategy. More than... I wonder if AHL didn't really expect it. So Little Nicky and Mr. Adams are doing really well from pit stop strategy. Den's back there in 8th. Now, it was Larry Birch who started on those mediums. He's now moved on to the softs. He is 12 seconds ahead of his teammate Toby, 5.1 behind his teammate Ost. So at the moment, Apex Hunters are really, really dominant here. Front two, Tank Bro and Dan. Then we've got James and Belfast Bat 4th and 6th. Uncle Bob in 7th position. And then Carhal there in 9th. As for Race Asylum, they are currently 3rd and 5th. I do apologise for that, but what is that? My daughter just turned something on and you can't turn it off. 3rd for Little Nicky. It's 5th for Mr. Adams. It is 8th for Dens. Ost is 10th. 11th is Larry Birch, and 12th is Tobin. Don't have children, folks. They really don't understand boundaries. Tank Bro, 4.3 seconds clear now. Really starting to find the rhythm, and has gone sub 2 minutes with a 1:59.0. As I speak, he improves significantly. That is a really, really good lap time. Remember that 59.0. It was Dan previously who did the 59.3. He laid down the gauntlet and said, "What you got, Tank Bro?" And Tank Bro said, "This is what I got," and did a 1:59.0. So significantly. Why did it sounded weird when I said it? But that is right. Significantly faster than his previous hot lap. Dan there with a penalty. Now, does this play into Little Nicky's hands? We know that it's quite a brutal penalty. Where that penalty line is, we saw James lose out a position earlier on with a half-second penalty. Little Nicky needs to spend the next few corners just edging that ever closer to the back of Dan, and hopefully when the penalty serves, he can make that little move. Dan's been pretty quick, but Little Nicky has been putting a shift in or two all by himself in those 1:59.3s. Now really finding some great pace. That's a much better pace than he did in the early stage on those soft compound tyres. 1.3 seconds behind. Needs a really good exit out of the hairpin, out of Spoon, and then a good run with some slipstream, ideally to really capitalise on Dan's penalty. I'm not sure he's going to be close enough coming out of Spoon. He's 1.3 back. He's not getting any drag at all. That's the penalty being served. He will get much closer, but I think we're going to get to 130R before he gets any chance of making a move into 130R. There you go. That's a lot of grass for Little Nicky, but he is closing in to the Castigo Triangle. Had a little look up the inside. Not close enough this time. Good exit out of here, though, with a good run down to turn 1. And we can see a move through the S's. He's closed that gap significantly now, down to 0.6 of a second, halved the deficit. He now has some slipstream. He now has an opportunity to put some pressure on Dan. Dan holding on well, though. Belfast Bap is there in 4th. He still involved. He's not too far off the back of that battle. You can see that battle ahead, Little Nicky and Dan. He's not too far off the back of that, and it's going to be a really difficult position to be in for Little Nicky, because if Dan was to just start backing him up a little bit, dragging him, drawing him onto him, and then back him into his teammate, could make it very, very difficult last 6 or 7 minutes, or 6 minutes, if I look at the thing that's wrong right there. It could be a very uncomfortable 6 minutes for Nicky, where he's struggling to hold on to 4th. Belfast Bat makes a mistake, though, and that will give Little Nicky a bit of a breather from behind. Does that bring Brian into the mix? Well, possibly, but he has got James all up in his business, as they say in the trade. He's all up in his business. He's half a second back, and he's getting a good run up the hill behind Brian, looking in his mirrors, and he sees a whole lot of James coming fast. Is he going to be able to hold him off? Again, it's same, it's like 6 minutes now to the end of this race, so about 3 laps, and James is really gunning for it. Now bear in mind that it was AHR starting in the top 5 positions. Currently top 2 and 4th, excuse me. He's trying to make a move around the outside, side by side through there. I said you need balls. James didn't have them, but you would need not only massive testicles, but you'd also need to be massively stupid to try and go side by side through there. And James is not massively stupid, neither is Brian, and they both knew they weren't going side by side. And because he was just ahead, James is going to have to wait. Does he get another crack at it? He's going to make him go round the outside. If he does, into turn 1, under braking. If he gets round the outside here, that is phenomenal pace held through the corner. He's not giving it up by any stretch, but Brian can't hold him off, and James gets that move done. Let's have a look from inside James's car, and you can see here side by side, he's absolutely on the edge of the racetrack. giving each other the room, has to hold it round the outside, but does get that move done and makes it stick, and James moves up into the top 5. So that's brought Uncle Bob into the mix a little bit now. Uncle Bob 8/10 back. That little battle going on there has allowed Uncle Bob just to close on the back of Brian. Who's Brian then? There he is. Brian Adams. Whether he can catch him or not, or whether there's enough time to catch him, because of course he's got to get up in behind him. He's got to be close enough coming out spoon to get it done there. Otherwise it is going to be another move like the James move. That's what it's going to be known as from now on. Round the outside into turn 1 at Suzuka is called the James. Yeah, it was great driving. Is it bad? It's Baz, not Brian Adams. But Brian's not Brian. We're quite close to Baz. Denz, short for Denzel, of course. 7.1 behind Uncle Bob. 2.7 ahead of Car Hall. 2.6 to him. 12.1 to Ost. 3.6 from the German driver to Larry Birch. He started on those medium compound tyres, but it didn't work out too wonderfully for him. Oh, mistake from Ost. Gets it all kinds of wrongs. What does he do? I bet he catches the grass with it. Just wide. Just goes a little bit wide through Spoon, coming back onto the racetrack, but stays wide and finds it very difficult to get it back on. He doesn't like Brian. See, now you've told me that I'm going to call him Brian all the time. You shouldn't have told me. You should have told me he prefers to be called Brian, because I would have gone with Barry. Thing is, I'm going to forget that. Now it's in my head. I'm going to forget, and I'm going to keep calling him Brian. And then one day we're going to meet, and he's going to headbutt me. Right, so Tank Bro still leads 7.3 seconds clear. Sub 59 for him with a 58.8. Very, very swift. Dan doing good solid times. He's in the 59s. Little Nicky 1.7 behind. Is there time? I think it would require Dan to make a mistake, but Little Nicky is under significant pressure from Belfast back, trying to find a way through, and he's really, really close to the back of him, just coming up the hill now. If he gets a good run, can he make the move out of Spoon? Now he's looking round the outside here as they go into this double apex left-hander. He's looking to get the switcheroo slingshot as he comes out, and he's really, really close. It's going to be hard for Nicky to defend this. He's already moving up the inside to stop Nicky from coming across as they move into 130R. Didn't stand a slipstream though, so he is going to have to back off as they head into 130R, but just a little bit braver, and on the brakes and through he goes into the lead of this race. Sorry, bear with me because people don't use their freaking keys. So up into third goes Belfast back, makes the move on Little Nicky, makes it look pretty easy in the end as they go into 130R. So back up into that top 3, so there's a top 3 lockout for AHR. Little Nicky, going sideways into turn 1, what happened there? It looks like he was just pushing to try and stay with him. He had the slipstream and he down to one, but his tyres are shot as we move into the last lap of the race. And through into this right-hander he goes. Bear with me. Seriously, don't have kids. They're fucking absolute tossers. Right, so here we go. Little Nicky now. Lost it into turn 1. Sorry, I get all flustered when my kids don't do what they're supposed to fucking do. Right, Barry is right up behind his teammate now after all of that. The tyres are gone though. The soft just didn't quite last the full distance. Tank Bro gets another lap. No, he doesn't. So he's coming down to 130R. He'll take the win here, and it's been pretty easy going for him, to be fair. Once he got the lead, he never really looked back. He's made that last really well, and the fuel absolutely perfect. Yeah, you're right. I think he will be fuming. The tyres just didn't quite last out. Take that down to the boys and tell them next time I have to answer the door when I'm broadcasting, I'm going to leave the fucking food outside. Them too. Sorry guys, I should have muted that. So Dan takes second, Belfast Bap is third, James comes home in fourth place, and I think little Nicky will be a bit upset about that final finish. Uncle Bob comes home in fifth, Dens 9.7 back in sixth. AHR really dominant in this first race here at Suzuka. You can only think that the reverse fixture at Watkins Glen is going to fare a little bit better for RA. He did well trying it out. Now, to be fair, it almost worked. It was that last lap that just caused the problems on those softs. And I'm wondering whether it might have been worthwhile, because you can see that Larry Birch went for the mediums, and he gained a couple of places, but it didn't work out quite so well for him going that route either. So I actually don't think it was a bad idea going soft, because you've got to try something, particularly when the top five were locking out the top end of the field. You've got to try something, and I think it was certainly worth the try. Right, let's. That's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. Right, so right, there we go. So it is. Nicky ran out of fuel. No, he binned it in turn one. Just went a little bit sideways. The tyres gave out on him. So it was Tank Bro, Dan, Belfast Bap, James, and Uncle Bob. They locked out the front five in qualifying and took the top five positions. Dens in sixth. It was, and he is the lead RA driver there. Carl Howard in seventh. Little Nicky in eighth position. Barry Adams in the 911 in ninth. It's 10th for Larry Birch, 11th for Ost, 12th for Toby. There we go. Done and dusted. Room is being prepared. There we go. I don't know why you're laughing wearing that fucking AFC Wimbledon shirt.
In my defence, it literally says it's still not due for another 10 minutes on the app even now.
Okay. I'll let you off. Others wouldn't. Right, we move on. So that is Suzuka done. Going to have a 10-minute interval. Well, they're not having an interval. They're going to have a practice. But we're going to have a 10-minute interval while I punch my son in the head. Not for making me open the door while I was broadcasting, but for wearing an AFC Wimbledon shirt, because he is a Chelsea fan, and he's wearing an AFC Wimbledon shirt because he's a Judas and a Puff.
You're just mad you can't fit a Palace shirt.
Right, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. I have returned from my my brief break. Let's have a little let's have a look at the track, shall we? See what's occurring. Put my headphones back on so I can hear the cars. Did someone say puff? Your son is lying. Hang on, I'm just trying to read back because obviously I had that little conversation with my. Yeah, I think you're right, King, is about the mediums. I did say that early on that I thought the mediums might be better here at the Glen, particularly the short course as well. Yeah, so it was a good start for AHR, but I think those having just mediums available to RA, I think is going to play into their hands a little bit. The softs are going to be they're going to go off very quickly here at Watkins Glen, which I think is going to require a little bit of time management from AHR, particularly towards the end of the race. My son is lying, Gov. Yeah, probably. That's what kids do, isn't it, right? But no one said puff. And a puff. Yeah, me, I'm out of puff from walking. Right, so what do we think? I mean, there's no question. Let me take the names off the top of the cars. It's stupid. There's no question for me that AHR have been pretty strong. Certainly at Suzuka. And I mean, qualifying is going to be paramount, absolute paramount around here, without question, because it's a difficult racetrack on which to overtake. That's the really, really key thing. Very difficult to overtake. So it's going to be about where you get your positioning, how you get it right, how you where you put yourself in the big scheme of things. But then of course you've got to stay on the racetrack. That's the big thing, is you've got to stay on the racetrack and not make a mistake. And Watkins Glen is one of those tracks where it looks like it should be easier than it is, but so easily you can make mistakes. How you doing, Carl? Good first race for you. Look forward to seeing how you get on this time round. But yeah, there's a few parts. I mean, particularly the chicane at the top of the hill. If you catch that wrong, and I've seen it so many, I've seen even some of the best drivers just go in there, just catch them, particularly the curbs, get on the wrong bit of curb at the wrong pace, and the car just goes into a sort of mind of its own. And we know that the Mustang does at times give you something to think about, and usually that thing is, oh shit, I'm gonna die. So yeah, but we'll see. We will see what we will see. But time's looking pretty good. 108s across the board for AHR on the soft compounds. Barry's on the mediums. Hard tyres on Tank Bro's car. That's interesting. That'll be a very interesting tactic. Anyone that goes for the hards. Now you're not going to be able to do the full half hour here without stopping because of the fuel situation. But does the hards give you another option? With the softs being so utterly useless. Also, as I've been told, I haven't driven it. I couldn't tell you for certain. I was planning on doing a few laps in both cars on both tracks. I just genuinely have another time today. I've been. What happened was I sat down to do my end of year accounts as I was supposed to have done, and I spent 4 hours making videos instead. And then I was like, shit, I've still got to get this done because I don't want to spend the weekend doing it. So yeah, there we go. Right, well, we'll have qualifying very shortly. But I think it's going to be very difficult to look beyond AHR in this particular race. And what we will do, we'll have a look again at the. That's not what we wanted. At the current status. And that's how we're looking at the leaderboards at the moment. So at the end of this race, I think we're going to see AHR with 6 points and 2 wins to their name, with RA down there 0 and 0 wins. However, there's still so much more to race for. Coming up, I think actually it's probably already started now. We've got the other race, which is ART versus RTR. They're in the Ferrari 458 at Barcelona, followed by the Audi TT Cup at Sardegna Road Track B, which is a pretty good racetrack. So we're switching to qualifying two. Qualifying two looks a little bit like this. Same sort of same setup, same tyre, same everything else. Again, we'll have this time it'll be RA will go out first. They'll set their laps and it'll be down to AHR to put something down for us and see where they can slot in. All to race for still here. Can RA pull off what will probably be a bit of an underdog story and steal the limelight here? Certainly possible. Certainly very possible. Still on practice. We haven't actually started qualifying yet. Just waiting for, I think, Carhal and Barry to check in and then get out on the racetrack. And of course we've got our glamorous race director, Ray the race director, calling the shots here. I think it's everybody checked in. I don't know if you can see my I'm going to turn that off. You see I've got my 911 up. That's Megan Fox on my car. Well, it's not actually Megan Fox, it's a picture representation of Megan Fox on the car. Because although I am a grown man with grown-up children, I am essentially a 12-year-old boy. Right, shall we get cracking with some qualifying? Let's do that. We'll go on board with... We'll do a full lap with little Nicky when we get there. So, short track version of Watkins Glen. It is essentially one side of the track is flat out with a few corners. This particular layout is about 2.5 miles, 3.9 kilometres, and just 8 corners. Sorry, just taking my Pepsi. Because I forgot. Well, I say I forgot. I didn't forget to drink. I bought the girls McDonald's earlier, and I've got myself a chocolate milkshake. I didn't forget to drink it. I drank half of it, and then the fucking straw went all soggy. If anyone from McDonald's is listening, right, you're probably not, but if you are, plastic lid and a fucking paper straw. Get a grip. Give me a fucking plastic straw and a paper fucking lid. Bellends. Then I can actually enjoy my milkshake without having to carry. The other option, of course, is to carry around your own glass reusable straw with you, and then you just look like a crackhead. Right, it is a little Nicky on his hot lap. So you go blasting up the hill after coming through turn 1 and 2, and this is very, very key to your lap into the chicane. You don't want a lot of brakes, a little touch of brake, drop a gear, drop another gear as you go through, and then you're blasting your way out, and you're using that drop of gear just to get the car to change direction. Nothing more than that. Back on the power. Don't know what happened there. He looked like he missed the gear. Through the penalty lines. He's going to have another crack at it. Yeah, do you know what? It's context, isn't it? I know that, you know, if I'm sitting in I used to coach a lot of kids football, and when I was sitting with a group of little kids, I wouldn't swear at all. You know. And then when I was coaching, you know, I took a team from under 7s to under 16s. By the time they were like 14, 15, I was calling them every C word under the earth. So I think it's contextual. I think if I know I'm not supposed to and I'm a place not supposed to, I will just behave. So, Lil Nicky with the first... he was actually asked with the fastest lap. We're going to stay on board with Lil Nicky, just so we watch him go and blast up the hill. But it is Ost on pole with Lil Nicky joining him on that front row. Of course, it will be all RA in the top positions because AHR not out yet. I love this chicane and this view going through the chicane. If you can get it right, you can stay on that power coming through down to third gear for this long right-hander, and then back up the hill through the penalty line before you've got 2 big braking zones to the end of the lap. which is the shortened version of it. Basically, it keeps the heel and gets rid of the rest of the boot. And on this Watkins Glen circuit, on the brakes for the last corner. Yeah, it's true. It's true though. How many times have you bought a milkshake from McDonald's, right? Been given a paper straw and not got to finish the milkshake because you don't have an alternative straw with you, and the straw's gone all soggy. And it's what? So because a hedgehog might eat it. Because the hedgehog's not going to eat the fucking plastic top, is he? If he's stupid enough to eat the straw, he's stupid enough to eat the plastic top. There we go. And to be fair, if you chuck the plastic straws on the floor, they make very handy all-weather shelters for worms. Right, so Little Nicky on pole, a little bit quicker than us with that 107.3 in the end. Us with the 107.5. Then Den's, then it's Barry. I'm loving it. Yeah, indeed. Toby and then Larry Birch, all on the soft side. Toby with a little bit of a rear end damage, which will work its way off, but will affect the pace just a little bit. Arsdale, where do you live, Jazz? And why have they not brought that into the UK? To be fair, it's not so bad. I did moan about it, and I did use the paper straw, but we've actually got reusable straws in the cutlery drawer. I just didn't want to put the dishwasher on today, so I didn't get one out. So I basically suffered from my own laziness, really. Okay, so AHR should be coming out now at some point. In Wales, so we're literally in the same country, really. I mean, you could argue Wales and England are different countries, yeah, but we're both in Great Britain. How the feck have you got wax-coated paper straws, and we still have to deal with the old floppy, rolled-up A4 piece of paper bullshit? I'm not Danny Dyer. I'm absolutely not Danny fucking Dyer. I can assure you I'm not Danny Dyer because I'm not a cokehead. Right, AHR now out. Little Nicky as Danny's last blast. He's now into the pits. Time for AHR to see if they can improve on it. The target is 107.3 if they want pole. No, most of ours are, Jazz. Most of our franchises, to be fair, mate. There's not many chain Mackies left. Most of them are franchises. Round where I live, I mean, there's one guy that owns... I've known the guy for years. I remember when he got his first ever one. He used to sponsor one of my football teams. When he got his first ever one, he's got like 7 now, all dotted around this area. And then he's got one in Peckham, strangely, and Lewisham. And then he's got all the rest dotted around sort of Croydon and Sutton and all around that area. Funny story, right? Knives made of wood, Viking, right? So... in Pentonville Prison, and I don't know if this is the case now, but I know it certainly was many years ago, right? I won't tell you how I know this, but in Pentonville Prison, they used to give you a plastic knife, a plastic fork, or actually a plastic spork. So you used to have a plastic knife, plastic spork, and used to give you a metal tray that weighed 3 kilos, right, to put your food on. So you couldn't stab anybody with a plastic fork or a spork or knife, but you could take their head off with a solid metal tray for putting your food on. It just goes to show that people don't really think these things through. Now, you're right, Danny Dyer is quite a funny guy. Right, so Belfast Bap with his first hot lap. I don't even know. Dan, though, goes on to pole. That's at 107.2. Stealing pole away from Nicky. Tank Bro goes 3rd fastest. Oss still 4th fastest. Den's still in 5th position. It's James who goes 6th fastest with Belfast Blap with the 7th fastest lap. Well, yeah, once I do something, I just know. Of course you can. Of course you can. Right, so as we're looking, so Kyle is currently running in 9th position. They've got a couple more laps to put in though, so still time to try and steal an extra place or two. Uncle Bob running in 11th position with Toby back there in 12th. So R8 in the pits just looking on and hoping, desperately hoping, that their times aren't obliterated by AHR. With Dan picking up a penalty there, he's not going to be able to improve on that 1:07.2. So he will be staying in pole anyway, but you know what I mean. Belfast BAP improves. 1:07.3 takes the front row. Only briefly though, because Tank Bro decides he wants that front row and steals it away from his teammate Little Nicky down to 4th. Are we going to see a top 5 lockout yet again for Apex Hunter Racing? Uncle Bob there down in 7th at the moment. Very exploitative of the track limits, but seemed to get away with that. 1:07.6 his fastest time so far, currently sitting there in 7th position. Is a little bit up on his time, and that should be enough to get past Ost, but will it? A couple more corners to go and we will find out. James now on pole. James puts in a blistering 1:07.0, so he now on the front row with Dan Tank Bro in 3rd. Belfast BAP has quit at that point. He's happy with 4th. He feels he didn't need to go again. Uncle Bob looking to make it. Can he make it? 2 races with a 5 out of 5 on the front. Across the line he goes. And that is enough for 6th. Cannot steal 5th position. Lil Nicky hanging on in there. And he'll want to finish well after what happened at Suzuka with that little foray with the spin gods. After just taking those tyres, just probably 1 lap too far. So everybody done. It's Tank Bro and James on the front row. Dan and Belfast on row 2. Little Nicky 4, Race Asylum, the top race Asylum driver in 5th. Uncle Bob in 6th. Austin Dens on row 4. Row 5 is Barry Adams and Car Howell. Larry Birch and Toby bringing up the rear. And I apologise for the whining, but my daughter's little dachshund dog is just staring at the door whining. I have a feeling they've arrived home from shopping. They're just outside, which means he's going to get incredibly noisy very quickly, as it happens. Because I'm too poor to afford a separate room to broadcast from, you see. Because I live in London, and every additional room in your house costs £1 million. So just waiting for. Why is it not ending? Oh, that's because Carhal, or is it? Because Barry Adams is in the pit, so we have to wait for the clock to tick down because he hasn't crossed the line. I think he'll need to leave the pits to cross the line, will he not? Yeah, I think he will. He'll have to leave the pits to cross the line because it's still got him out on track, which means he could be here a while. So Tank Bro was incredibly strong. No, Simon, do you know what? You're not far off it, mate. I mean, house prices are ridiculous anywhere you go. I mean, proportionate to wages, they're ridiculously priced. But yeah, in London, it's insane. And we're quite lucky that we got our place when we did. But they've just built. They've knocked down an old trading estate. About 10 minutes from here, and built a load of flats, apparently affordable properties, and a 1-bedroom flat, and I'm not shitting you here, a 1-bedroom flat is 195,000. Sorry, studio flat, so not even a separate bedrooms. You've got a living room and a bedroom, living room, kitchen, and a bedroom. Is £195,000. 195,000. And we're not even talking about central London. We're talking about the outskirts of London. We're not even in a London postcode. We've got like a Surrey postcode. So yeah, it just goes to show just how ridiculous house prices are around here. But that's why I've got 3 adult children still bloody living at home. But there we go. Right, well, Barry needs to leave the pits, man. because he's holding. We can't. The lobby won't finish while it's still there. It's still waiting for it to cross the line. That's something. That's a bug that that RA could probably look at, isn't it? There we go. Right. We know how we're lined up. We know what we're in for. Tank Bro, James Dan, we know they're incredibly quick. Belfast Bap as well has shown some great pace. Little Nicky flying the flag for Race Asylum and will want to avenge that crash that dropped him out of the top 5 at Suzuka. Grid's going to be set and then we will get cracking. Other races this week in the Community Team Cup going on right now is Amigos Racing Team versus Raw Talent Racing. That's at Barcelona in the Ferrari 458 and Sardenga B in the Audi TT. Tomorrow we've got Esports Race Asylum in the Bugatti Veyron at the Blue Moon Bay Speedway A. And against Overboost Racing Team in the Lexus SC 430 at Fuji. That will be followed by the Medway Racing League in the RSO1 GT3 at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit against Team CLR, and that'll be the Audi RS5 Turbo at Mount Panorama. Love that circuit, man, love it. And then on Sunday it will be TCR versus ZFS, and I don't know what cars they're in yet. But yeah, check ZFS. Awesome little racing team, and awesome little setup as well. They've got it's essentially like a game within a game. It's quite a cool little career mode thing that they do. Do check them out. They're I just finished broadcasting their World Series, which finished on Wednesday. Yeah, it was pretty nice. Will you shut up, you silly little dog? Come here, you whiny weirdo. Right, everyone getting checked in, and then we'll get cracking. It's gonna be an uphill task. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's going to be an uphill task for RA. It's going to be hard for them to get much out of this race, but it's one of those tracks that where, you know, if a mistake happens, it's very difficult to get yourself back in. So having those medium tyres as well might help them with with jumping one or two through the kind of pit stop strategies, because I think the soft tyres aren't going to be great around here. They're not going to last you as long as you'd like, and having 2 sets now of the mediums is playing into their hands a little bit. Everyone in RA has those additional medium tyres, other than Larry Birch, who started on the mediums at Suzuka. AHR, everyone bar a couple have used one of each. I think they all have. I think they've all used soft and mediums. So they've only got 1 set of each available to them. So it really is key to how long you can get those softs to work, isn't it? Just waiting for, I don't know what are we waiting? I'm waiting for everyone to tick in. Everyone is now ticked in, and they can set the grid and we can get cracking. Bit slow with the old ticky, isn't they? Bit slow with that ticky. Finishing with Pepsi. So what's everyone doing for Easter? Took the little one, a couple of our mates, up the road to got like a thingy centre, like a health centre thingy. Health centre, wrong idea. Like, it's just basically a gym and a running track and all that kind of thing. And it was supposed to be like this Easter egg hunt for kids, right? We turned up. It was firstly indoors in a tiny little room. And secondly, it wasn't an Easter egg hunt. It was find pictures of eggs on the wall hunt. And they weren't even hidden. They were just pictures of eggs pinned to a wall. It was the shittest Easter egg hunt I've ever seen. It was awful. So yeah, that lasted about 5 minutes. Even the kids were just like, "I'm not doing this," and I wanted to come home. So yeah, but we're not doing chocolate eggs this year because it's ridiculous. You spend like fortunes on it, and they sit around for months, and no one eats them. So yeah, grid looks right. Is it right or wrong? Can't remember. I know little Nicky was 5th. Uncle Bob 4th. Wasn't James on pole? I think James was on pole. It's not my job to remember this thing, is it? Be interesting to see if little Nicky can stick with them. I imagine they'll probably start. Everyone will start on the medium compound tyre. The key really is going to be for little Nicky to stick with those guys for as long as possible before they then go in and pit and then put on the softs. Then of course he's going to have the benefit of longer lasting tyres. So here we go. Race is about to begin. This is the second race of the two. We just finished at Suzuka, of course. We move swiftly on to this Mustang GR3. Is it tank on pole? I can't remember. Right, let's get cracking. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Go to 7th position. Just like that. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. That goes out and we are racing. And that is a phenomenal start. What happened to Uncle Bob? Bogged down and lost a ridiculous amount of places. Great start from 3 of the RA cars there getting away. Little touch on the way through turn 1, but it is Barry Adams holding on just up ahead. This is Kyle. We're currently on board with as they head up the hill. Everyone got through safely, didn't they? No one's too far adrift. No, they are not. Toby is very far adrift. It looks like he picked up some damage into turn 1. So up in the lead is Tank Bro with James. They start to pull away. Well, half a second from Dan already as they come through the heel part of Watkins Glen. This whole section is called the boot, but they don't have that anymore because they've in the short version. They take out the majority of the boot. Little Nicky in 4th. Ost with a great start. Ahead of Belfast Barry Adams ahead of him as well. So good start from those 3 RA drivers. It's 3 AHR, 3 RA. Belfast Bat and Carhell. Uncle Bob bogged down at the start, lost so much time, getting a great slipstream off of his teammate, just giving him a little bump. And under braking, that's Dens. Was it Dens? No, sorry, that was Larry Birch. Trying to make a move. Was it Larry Birch? Who was that? No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was Dens. It was Dens making a move on Uncle Bob. Let's have I wonder if we can see that again. So when they change positions, yeah, he does. He make this great move into turn 1. Absolutely brave as well. But the gap was left open for him, so no reason why he shouldn't have a little go. And there he is making a move on Carhouse. He is absolutely flying, Dens, at the moment. Look at this now. Up the hill, gets a great run on Carhouse. Round the outside as well, into the chicane. Under braking, so much better on the brakes. Into the chicane, makes the move. That's a double overtake for Dens. Absolutely phenomenal start from him. Up to 8th position. So James up to 1st. Little Nicky is 2nd. Tank Pro drops down to 3rd. The slipstream here is going to play a massive part. And tyres and fuel, let's have a little look. It is good. I think it's going to be mediums across the board, isn't it? Mediums there for James and for Little Nicky. It's softs for Tank Bro. So surprisingly, actually, he's lost a couple of positions despite being on the softs. So some great moves there, and you can see up ahead, Little Nicky bobbing and weaving, trying to find a way around James. Up to the chicane they go, side by side, a great view here from the top of Tank Bro's car into the chicane. James just ahead. You can see Tank Bro closing in on those front 2. Penalty picks up for Tank Bro. That's going to cost him some time. Maybe that was what cost him before. He's getting a great run on Little Nicky though, who's desperately going to not want to see him come past him. He'll serve that penalty and drop down, and that'll be Dan closing in on him now, his teammate. Could be worse. It could be Ost, who is right there. He's not lost. There is Ost. He's in 5th position. He is just behind Dan. He's really putting some pressure on. It's nothing. He will absolutely burn through those soft compound tyres without question. I did say right at the beginning of Suzuka, and I'm not often right, but even a stopwatch is right twice a day, that having the you're unbelievable. Yeah, cool. He did catch him a little bit there. It could have been neck. I thought it was neck cone at first, but no, that he definitely caught him coming out of that corner. You can see there, and it just spinny him around. That's something for the stewards to worry themselves about, not for me. No malice intended, but it is what it is. Right, Belfast Bap is there. That's Dens making a move on him as well. Dens is on an absolute charge. He is taking no prisoners. Look at this run up the hill. He doesn't even care about going around the outside. He has got his line through here absolutely nailed on perfect. He is charging through the field, is Dens. Excuse me. I said at the beginning of Suzuka, particularly when AHR took the top 5 positions, the RA would have had a plan for their home race, and you can see already they're starting to execute that plan, and that is get Dens out in front, clearly, because Dens is on a massive charge. So there's Tagbo. He's on the soft compound tyres. He's got a great run on his teammate James. You can see there he's got the fastest lap of the race. He's going to make a move on James here. If James will I think James will let him through, or will he? He does. He just slows up and lets his teammate through. But he's going to have to pit a lot sooner than I think he'd like to. And it's going to cost him a lot more time than I think he wants it to. James there with a penalty. That's going to bring little Nicky right into a challenge for the lead here. So through the penalty line he goes. I'm going to have a look. Yeah, hard tyres are sketchy. So little Nicky gets a lot closer to James. Let's have a look if anyone is running the hard compound tyre. That's Dens flying through past Ost. Ost doing the right thing and letting Dens' much faster car through. Belfast Baps on those hards. He's getting a run on the back of Ost, but how much grip is he going to get out of those tyres? Not a lot, I would imagine. That's why Belfast Bap is down there. Carhow on those hards. Larry Birch also on the hards. 1.5 seconds worth of penalties. Uncle Bob wants to get the overtake done before we get to the penalty line, though. Having a look up the inside, he's on the hard compound tyres. You see there, that's why they're picking up the penalties. Track limits here are brutal. There's Dan all the way down in 11th place on those hards. Again, really exploiting those track limits on those hard compound tyres. And Toby on the mediums is 5.5 seconds back. So Tagbo still leading the way. He's 1.1 seconds clear, but his tyres are not long for this world, and will soon be singing a requiem for his dead tyres. James there holding on with his teammate in second. Little Nicky settled in a little bit more tyre wear on those mediums for Nicky than there is for James, but the Mustang, we know, isn't the greatest car at looking after tyres, whoever's driving it, but holding on at the moment. Same tyre zone. He's doing a much better job actually as Barry Adams. Now it could be the difference between pad and wheel, and often that is the case. You can see that no matter how quick you are on pad, sometimes that extra tyre wear just makes a massive difference to you. Dens still on a charge. He's got Ost tucked in nicely behind him, pulling Ost along now. They're just edging away from Belfast Bap, who was at one stage on those hard tyres trying to make a challenge, but just edging away now. Need to try and close that gap though on their teammate Barry, up 2.3 seconds up the road. And that's a big change. Did he pick up a penalty somewhere? Did he lose some time maybe? Because that was a big chunk of time being eaten out of Barry Adams there. The gap to little Nicky now, 2.1 seconds. 1.7 behind James. He's not been able to really capitalise on chasing them down. Tank Bro, one more lap really for him before he's got to come in. And looking at the difference in wear, we will start to see the drop off now on those mediums, but we're only 8 minutes into this race, still a good 20 minutes left, and we're going to see Tank Bro in at the end of this lap because those soft tyres are done. And of course there's no more, there's only a set of mediums or hard tyres available now to Tank Bro, having used softs at Suzuka. Will he go for the hard tyres and try and take them to the end? If we have a look at someone that is running the hard tyres, there we go. So we've got Belfast back there running the hard tyres. Now they should, looking at the wear there, they should take him to 2/3 distance. But it's how much time are you going to lose on those in comparison to staying on the softer tyres. He's there or thereabouts behind us. He's going to get a good run on him with these long. I think the long straights here do help with keeping up with the cars ahead, but the fast corners are really going to burn the tyres, and you get that lack of grip you get in comparison to the softer compounds on the hards is always going to make it difficult. You need to carry the speed through those corners you need. It's always going to be difficult on those hard compound tyres. That's the end of lap 9. Tank Bro, he is staying out on those tyres. Those tyres are shot, and he's staying out. It's brave, I'll give him that. He couldn't possibly stay out for another 5 minutes, could he? That would be absolute insanity. He's got to come in this lap. There's just no way he can make those tyres last any longer. And it's a 7 or 6/10 of a second to James, who's now pulled right. He's staying with Tank Bro despite being on those medium compounds. And Little Nicky now 2.2 seconds back. And the medium's not looking super wonderful either. 1.6 seconds ahead of Barry Adams. And Dens, who's on that massive charge, has closed the gap now to 1.2 seconds. Dens, who made his way through from 9th place up to 8th, 7th, up to the, to be fair, Ost kind of let him through because he was so much quicker. And there, Barry Adams now closing on him 1.3 seconds. So he could potentially, after the pit stops, we could see Dens knocking on the door of the top 3, bearing in mind his pace at the moment. Penalty for Tank Bro as he drops behind his teammates. He's staying out on those tyres. It's either stupidity or bravery. I'm thinking bravery, but it hasn't seemed to affect him too much. James going ahead. Of course, it is a team event, so while his teammate is doing the business out there, I think if Tank Bro had been on his own and he'd been surrounded by Race Asylum, he might have gone in a bit sooner. But he's got the benefit of a teammate there with him to help. So Little Nicky, despite being on those racing medium tyres, is out as long. Going to be out as long as Tank Bro. Tank Bro's staying out another lap on those absolute shot tyres. So clearly he's finding grip where there is none to be found. And those tyres are literally through to... I think this is the one thing that's missing from GT is that you can't blow up your tyres. So you could just drive forever on full red tyres and nothing happens. Seems a bit strange you'd want to do that, but that is what he's doing. And he's not losing huge amounts of time. It's only his teammate ahead of him. He's 1.9 seconds clear. Little Nicky is closing, but he's making the tyres last a long time, which means when he puts those medium tyres on, which he'll do when he does finally decide he wants to pit, he'll be in a much better position to take this car to the end. So all kudos to Tank Bro. I genuinely thought him starting on those soft compound tyres would see him going into the pits around lap 8. It's insane. I don't know. Do you know what? So I don't know how he's doing it, man. Tank has 6 points of contact on the racetrack, 4 tyres and his balls. You're absolutely right. Well, he's balls and 2 tyres because 2 of those tyres are finished. He did have a little bit of a wobble going into the pits, but he finally goes in. I think that's going to make the difference. Managing to stay out on those tyres is going to make a massive difference to the end of this race. So James is out. Little Nicky now, he's going to be struggling a little bit with that front left tyre on this lap. Barry Adams got a little bit left to play with. Dens, though, he's put quite a lot through those tyres as well. Yeah, they will be. He will have massive scratches on those. Yeah, absolute balls of steel. There we go. Tank's tyres because of the issue with start system. He had no time to change the tyres after setup was done. Okay. Well, there was quite a lot of time. What he means is he was away and he didn't set him up in time. But, to be fair, he dragged it out for that length of time anyway. And he's got mediums and hards available to him. I'm assuming he's come out on the medium tyres. No, he's come out on the hard compound tyres. So he feels he's got better pace in the hards then. Interesting. So James finally into the pits. Little Nicky's... Well, these guys are staying out on full red tyres. So clearly they don't feel they're losing that much grip. Yeah, I think he was, but I'm looking now. Like little Nicky stayed out. He's got nothing left on those front tyres. Barry Adams very little. Denz has got nothing left on them. He's staying out. Belfast Bap is on the hards. This actually could prove to be a masterstroke from Belfast Bap starting on those hard compounds, because he can go another 3 or 4 laps quite easily. And as we've seen, that having that mass tyre wear hasn't been a huge loss really in terms of time. Uncle Bob's on those hards as well. He's recovered a little bit after his poor start. He's back up to 5th. Carhal in 6th position. Yeah, there is that issue of fuel, of course, because he would have had to 2-stop it if he'd gone in any sooner. Looking at the fuel, yes, a little Nicky in. Barry Adams is in. Belfast Bap goes through into the lead. Denz is in as well. So Uncle Bob stays out. Carhal stays out, as you would expect. They're all on the hard compound tyres. Dan also on the hards. He stays out. So we're back to AHR in the top 4 spots. Larry Birch, he started on the hard compound tyres. Now he's up to 5th at 11 seconds off Belfast Bap in the lead. So out comes James. He's in the lead of this race de facto. The 5 cars ahead all still need to pit. Yeah, I think you're right there, Justin. I mean, there was a long enough delay between the lobby being set up, people ticking in, and the grid being set, and then the race starting to change tyres. So, if you were AFK, then you were AFK, and then you can't really blame the lobby for that. But yeah, right. So Tank Bro running in 7th. Doesn't seem to have been that big a deal on those soft compound tyres because he got them to last so long. So Carhal is now in. Barry is running in 8th place, 4.5 seconds back. He's now on his medium tyres. He's jumped Little Nicky. He put in a lot less fuel than Little Nicky did. Is that a mistake? So here's the question. Is it enough to take him to the end of this race? Looking at those that haven't gone in yet, we're just past the halfway point, so I suppose you probably can. It's going to be touch and go, though, I think, for Barry Adams. I think he might be in danger of having to really heavily fuel save towards the end of this race. Little Nicky just behind him. He's on those mediums. Easily get them to the end. He probably pit a couple of laps earlier than you would have expected him to. Anyway, can he get himself into the top 3? That's the question. If we look at the current top 3, Belfast Bap still needs to pit. He's staying out for another lap. Uncle Bob going in. He's and Dan going in as well. Larry Birch, he is now coming in. Such a tricky pit entrance there. That line is so long. Larry Birch into the pit. So James up into 4th. He will be your race leader once Belfast Bap finally goes in. Tank Bro running in 3rd. Barry Adams in 4th with Little Nicky running in 5th. How close can they get to those front runners? Bear in mind that now we've got James and Tank Bro both on the hard compound tyres. James' last lap on the hards was a 108.9. Barry doing a 108.9 on the mediums. Little Nicky a 108.7. He's some way off. I don't think there's enough time. Even if he's consistently a couple of tenths faster every lap, I think they're a little bit off the, a little bit too far behind to catch. There is a Dens running in 6th. So quick. First part of this race was just absolutely rapid. Found his way all the way up into the top 5 from the way down in 9th position. So Belfast Bap goes in. That is James. He's going to take the lead of this race as he crosses the line there. There's Tank Bro in 2nd. The man who can drive with no tyre. Rim. That's what we're going to change. We're going to change his name. He's not Tank Bro. He's Rim Walker. Excuse me. Barry there. So 6.8 seconds off the pace at the moment. 4.5 behind Tank Bro. Little Nicky sticking with him, getting that bit of slipstream to help him along. I'm very, very concerned about Barry's fuel situation. Although he's done quite a good job of looking after it thus far. Little Nicky 108.9, 108.7, that's his times. Barry's doing 108.9s, 108.9s consistently. Tank Bro 109 dead. So it's only a 10th slower, and he's 2.1 seconds behind his teammate, who's also a 10th slower. Not enough. That 4.5 seconds is going to be a big gap. Right, it's Little Nicky there running in 4th position. Right, let's go back down the order. This Dens is 3.7 ahead of Belfast Bap. That's where he comes back out. He ran a long way into this race. He's just on his out lap now within the last 10 minutes of this race here at Watkins Glen. If you are just joining us, where the hell have you been for a start? Secondly, this is the Community Team Cup, match day 2, and we're with the Apex Hunter Racing team and Race Asylum having their little matchup. First race at Suzuka was all Apex Hunter Racing. Little Nicky tried to get involved in there, made a little mistake into turn 1 with some dodgy tyres and dropped down to 8th position. This is race number 2 at Watkins Glen Short in this Mustang, and again at the moment Apex Hunter James and Tank Bro just taking the lead for themselves. Little Nicky though hanging on in 3rd, he's round his teammate. Can he start to close on that gap? He's just done his fastest lap of the race, which is a 108.5. Now that is half a second quicker than Tank Bro. If he can continue being half a second quicker, he could potentially catch him in a few laps time. About 5 laps time he'll catch him. It won't give him long to get round him. And James is, remember, 3.3 seconds up the road still. So he's got 7 seconds is the difference between him and a win here. And he's going to need to maintain a significant mid to low 108 pace in order to catch them and get past. Certainly the leader. Tank Bro might be vulnerable, but we'll see. Let's go right down the order. We haven't had a look down the order. There's Toby there, 16.7 seconds behind Larry Birch, who's currently running in 11th position. The American driver on those medium tyres till the end now. He is 8.2 behind the German Ost. He's 4.4 seconds off the back of Dan, who is 2.5 behind his teammate, Uncle Bob. Carhau is just ahead of him. These two are teammates. Are not likely to be going racing. We actually Carhau moves over and lets Uncle Bob, who is clearly faster, through. Belfast Bap, who ran longer than anybody out on those hard compound tyres, only on his second hot lap on the softs, currently running in 6th. Is he chasing down Dens? Well, the answer to that question is a resounding yes. He was 8/10 of a lap faster, 8/10 faster than he was than Dens was on that last lap. Based on that, he will be right up behind him somewhere around lap 22. Dens 2.3 behind his teammate Barry, and he is now 1.1 behind Little Nicky, who's just started to edge away. He is closing the gap to Tank Bro. There's no two ways about it. He's closing that gap. It's down to 3.2 seconds. Again, another 108.7 for him. Tank Bro in the standard 109 dead. That 109.8 on lap 18 didn't help him much, but he's on 109 dead. Little Nicky just 3/10 a lap faster now. needs to just up that pace a little bit if he wants to catch him. I think time is not on his side as it stands. James, though, comfortable at the moment, comfortably 3.1 seconds in the lead. So Apex Hunter's looking very strong here for to make it 2 from 2, and leaving Race Asylum without a win yet this season. We said Belfast Bat was going to be catching him, and he's already right up behind Dens. Dens, who for the first half of this race was so rapid, made up so many places early on, including getting past Belfast Bat. This is now going to be his opportunity to return that favour. They head up towards this chicane, in inner loop, outer loop. There's the inner loop, into the outer loop they go, which is essentially the heel of the boot. He's going to get a good slingshot out of this corner as they head down towards this left-hander. He's going to want to defend that inside line, Dens. He does not want to let Belfast Bat go round the inside of him. He'll hold on to the position here. The old switcheroo is on, though. A little tap just to let him know he's there. Then they're going to have the long run down to turn 1. Again, Dens is going to want to go and defend that inside line. He does not want to allow him to to drop in there and make the move. So again, Dens having to play defensive driving, but again, door open on the exit. Those soft compound tyres just got that better torque, that better grip out of the corner. Up the hill they go, drag racing side by side. Belfast Bat slipping through. We'll see Dens now just dive. Almost into the wall there. That was pretty darn close. You see Dens just wants to tuck right in there, get that slipstream up the hill, and hope he can make a move into the braking zone in the chicane. Not quite close enough. Almost, I say not quite close enough, then almost ploughing into the back of him as they went into the chicane. Round the right hander they go, and Belfast Bat now just starting to edge away from Dens. So that early charge from Dens, I think is going to culminate in a 6th position, but really good racing for the pair of them, giving each other just enough room but not conceding either driver. Was Belfast Bat a little bit out of track limits there? I don't see a penalty popping up, so I think he's going to get away with that one. James now 5.1 seconds clear. Little Nicky did catch Tank Bro. It looks like Tank Bro. Yeah, Tank Bro's got damage, significant damage on the front. I don't know if we're going to catch where that happened. We were watching that other battle. Oh, there he came out of turn 1, clipped the wall. That allowed Nicky to come on through. Now he's going to have to wait for that damage to repair itself as they head round. We're what, 3 minutes left? So about three laps. Yeah, maybe 3 laps if they can finish this one quick enough. After this, into the chicane they go. That damage is now gone. He's on the hard tyres though, so it's going to be quite a difficult job for Tank Bro, who hasn't been super consistent on those hard tyres. Was doing steady low 109s, 109.1, 00. Then he had a bad lap with the 109.8, back into the zeros and the ones, and then he's not been able to find super consistency like he has on the softer compounds. So his wheel messed with him. So he's out of the corner there. He's now 1.8 behind Little Nicky. That is unfortunate, but I think Apex Hunters have done the business necessary. 4.4 seconds clear is James. There's not a lot of tyre left there on the front for Little Nicky. There is enough to take him to the end, but is he going to be able to put in enough pace to catch James? With the low 109s, James dropping right out almost to the 110s now on those hard compound tyres. Is that I think that's more because the gap is there than out of necessity for protecting the tyres. Maybe protecting the fuel a little bit, just to make sure if he does have to defend at the end, he's got something left to defend with. But doing a very good job. Right, last chance to have a full rundown. Let's do that. James leads by 4.3 seconds from Little Nicky of Race Asylum. Apex Hunter Tank Bro has been on an absolute charge all day. Really quick. Really hard to catch. Now sitting 2 seconds behind Little Nicky in 3rd. That's Barry Adams now coming right up behind him. He's got Belfast Bat for company. That's a 3-way battle there. Currently for 3rd with just 1 minute 38 seconds to go. 2 laps remaining. Belfast Bat, nothing left of that front left tyre. Barry Adams, low, well not lows, but enough to get into the end. And Tank Bro on those hard tyres. Are we going to see, I was going to do a full run through, but are we going to see a little battle at the end of this race for third place? So we're heading up the hill now into the chicane. You can see that Barry Adams having a look around the outside. Tank Bro concerned enough to defend the inside line into the chicane, but Barry not quite close enough. Through they go. His Belfast back, the fact that he's keeping up with them, despite that tyre being absolutely shot, is pretty darn good. I'll tell you what, they've all done amazing work keeping dead tyres on this track here. The tyre wear has been brutal to these guys around this track over this half-hour race. So the tyre and fuel wear is given to them. They pick their own track and car, and then they obviously they each do their combination. So one more lap for these leaders. It's James from Little Nicky, Tank Pro from Barry Adams from Belfast Battle. We're currently watching with. Dens gets through for another lap. Uncle Bob also. Dan does as well. Anyone not going to make it? Carhall is through. Larry Birch, he might just make another lap. Yeah, he's going to make another lap. But Ost does as well. Toby not going to make the other lap though. So top 11 all make it through to the final lap. But here is your race leader. Just a few corners remain between him and James taking the win here for Apex Hunter, and I think we can say it's a resounding win for AHR in this first race of this race 2 weekend. So James comes round last corner and he'll cross the line and take the win. Quite convincingly in the end by 5.7 seconds. Little Nicky exercises the demons of Suzuka, comes home in second. Tank Bro holding on for third in the year with Belfast back, gets past Barry Adams, who finishes in fifth. Den's in sixth. Uncle Bob, Bobby's my uncle, and he finishes in seventh. Dan home in eighth. Pretty close though. It's only 13 seconds separating those top eight. Carhall in 19th. Do you know what, Jazz? I've been reading out the corner mile what you're saying, and I completely agree with you. Because I toyed, Larry Birch comes home in 10th, 11th for me. I toyed with the idea for a while of upgrading to a Fanatec from my Logitech. And the amount of times I heard people complaining about it cutting out or having issues with it, it just doesn't justify. I mean, it's 4 times the price of a Fanatec, a Logitech, unless of course you're buying like all adapters and stuff like that. But it's still significantly more expensive, and I'm not entirely sure it's worth that much more if it craps out that often. But there we go. Right, so that was a resounding win in this Community Team Cup for Apex Hunter Racing over Race Asylum. We'll look at the table up to this point. That's not it, that's the one. So we'll start there. I haven't updated it because I'm not doing that. But we'll see AHR go to the top of the tree briefly with 6 points and 2 wins, and RA will stay where they are with no points and no wins. So we'll have a look and we'll see. We'll have a look on Sunday and we'll know where we're all at. Check out, there's another race going on right now. Jaeger will be doing that, and that is between Amigos Racing Team and the RTR Raw Talent Racing guys, and you'll find that over on the Community Team Cup YouTube. Also have to thank you guys for joining me. It's been a pleasure as always. Jumping in last minute, how are you doing, Bro Hawk? Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, so next month then, I suppose. Next month for the next race. Thanks for joining me. I've been UrbanPyrate. This has been the Community Team Cup race week 2. And AHR, hold your hands aloft because you are today's winners.